Welcome to Only Ghosts in the Building. This is your host, Emily Claire.
And Karen Lynn.
This is your bonus episode of Rockwood Mansion Deep Dive. I hope you enjoy. Wasn't that a great interview with Riley? She's so fun and adorable.
She is, yes. I do like the way she interviews. Her voice is very clear.
Yes.
And her thoughts are crisp, which is unlike us rambling.
and the part where I couldn't remember what a safe was, and I was like, vault the thing, and then I'm turning the combination lock. It's like,
and nobody's seeing you because
nobody sees me. Well, I was doing the combination to you guys, so you could
know.
Please come up with. My mom brain said, "No word. You can't have word. No."
But we finally got that sorted.
We did. And there was some confusion that I ended up taking out because having two walkthroughs of Rockwood less than 24 hours apart made my brain squishy, and I could not remember which day was which, what we did there and what we did then, and it was all over the place. So
I agree. It was a little difficult to remember what happened at which day, because we had events that happened both days, even though one was supposed to be a reveal of previous experiences from participants, and we had some more that day as well. So
yes, we did.
It gets a little confusing.
We're gonna go in and kind of reflect and talk about other things that Riley didn't participate in. It was just us there. Spirit Wind.
Spirit Wind was interesting. You covered that, and I don't think we need to bring that up again. No pun intended. Or get it out.
If Spirit Wind does not ring a bell, go back and listen to the interview with Rick and Bill. But I do have to say, as a sometimes partial medium, or when I'm working with deity, or doing tarot readings, or getting messages from the other side, it feels like my belly gets full, my solar plexus gets full, and sometimes it feels like I have to burp. And Spirit Wind, that's just the name of it now. It's our inside joke, Spirit Wind, because I have burps that come from spirit. And that's all we're going to say about that.
I think that's enough. So we went in skeptical at first to the first day.
Well, I think we went in skeptical all the days.
We were a little bit skeptical, but actually, surprise to me, we found some credible events that were unexpected.
Absolutely, we did.
There was a lot of activity that we had when we've gone on previous ghost hunts that we just did not experience.
No. So even after we left the first night, the investigation, I think we were all kind of in a whirlwind, like, what the heck just happened here? Because that was a lot of stuff. We've never experienced anything like that. We are believers. We hold a healthy skepticism, but we are believers. So we were like, how in the world did we just have that much experiences with that many people in that short of a time in this place? Like, I just don't understand. And it had to have been, in my head, something had to be up with that. Places just don't have that happen all the time. When we went into the reveal, we were both like, okay, it's now our time to kind of look and see if it happens again, if things are just as active, because they say it's just as active in the day as it is at night. Different things happened, and we got a little bit of verification in certain other aspects.
And not only what we experienced the second time, but what other people had experienced.
Yes.
during the reveal session the second day.
Their reveal is cool. They have a lot of different photographs and they have a lot of different videos or sound recordings, but usually those sound recordings are on a video. It seemed the majority of it were photos of things in mirrors or windows. I have to say, I don't see those things. I'm so terrible at looking at those things.
The kind of a shadow of a figure in a mirror,
Yeah.
and you if you look at it one way, it's sort of like that young lady old lady
Yes.
visual effects thing where you can make your mind think that it's there if you really look or you want to see it.
Well, that's
And
our brains automatically do that. That's called pareidolia, and our brains want to see things. They want to find faces and stuff. Like that's why we see things in clouds and all that kind of stuff. Our brains kind of want to do that automatically. Sorry. Go ahead.
no, that's fine because that's essentially what I was going to say, but I didn't remember the word for it. So thank you,
Pareidolia.
pareidolia. So that is interesting. And then people talking about seeing shadow figures. Somebody's looking. I think Bill was talking about, or was it Rick, about one figure there that they see
Rick.
frequently looking over the railing from the second floor down into the stairwell.
And boy, did they have a video of that. It wasn't
Yes,
over the
yes.
stairwell, but you saw a shadow figure
Mm-hmm.
walk down past the open doorway. It was just a real quick shadow figure, but you see it. You certainly do. They got a good catch on that one.
Yes, and they're there quite frequently. So they
Yes.
have, what, 31 entities that they have
Mm-hmm. Yep.
said that they've been able to identify, and
Right.
family members and servants. I guess there are a few people that come in with other people that are around when during the tours, entities that may be attached to the people that are coming in.
Yes. Yes.
But
Tippy.
yeah, but that's primarily they're there alone, and they have the experiences and they have all the equipment to capture with
Yeah.
cameras and things being set up when the building is even empty or they're in different parts of the building, and they
Correct.
capture things in an area where the building is absolutely not occupied, because it's not some place that just people walk through. It's just you have to come in and be registered, and they have to know you're there, so they know who is in the building at all
Yes.
times.
And
And it's
usually it's not that many people there. Like on
no,
an off day, they'll have two people in the office maybe. Like it's not like a busy building with catering companies coming in or anything like that.
exactly.
So,
So yes, there so that they it's a controlled environment for them. But it's also a very positive experience. I,
yeah.
I was except paranormal 101. You're like, okay, you're going into a building and it's going to be dark and scary, and the lights are going to be low, and it wasn't that. I mean, all the lights were on. There were a lot of people in our grouped together.
Yep.
People didn't wander off out of the group. So mostly when people saw things, they could share it with everyone else, or they could say, hey, I found a cold spot, and other people could walk to that spot and confirm that. Edith's room for me was one of those spots. So I knew it was definitely cold because it was just inside the door from another
Mm-hmm.
room that was warm. Mary
Mm-hmm.
and Joseph's bedroom, by the way. Then somebody else walked in and said, boy, it's freezing in here. There's not air conditioning. There's nothing going on that would cause that.
Right.
But I'm getting ahead of myself, I think, a little bit. I was just
That's
so
okay.
excited to have that experience. I've got to talk
Yeah.
about it. It was a positive experience. Rick has a lot of experience in that building. Bill has experience with paranormal, and they're excited about it too. It's
Yeah.
they don't just hoard everything. They they share what they have experienced. They're very interactive with the
Yes.
participants. They make everyone feel included. They give out meters and rods and, all the things, all the toys that they have, they share. And they
Yeah.
explain what we're seeing when we're seeing these things.
Exactly, which is good. That's what you should do. They also give you a little time to like follow things through and experiment with them. We got a couple of things.
Yeah, we did. So, you want to talk about validation
Yeah.
and the things that we found that we can't go back and validate because, I guess we could go back
Yeah.
and
Well,
try to recreate them.
well, the one big thing for me, and that's been looming over my head for quite a while, is when I sat down to edit the interview with Rick and Bill right off the friggin' bat. So we're in this empty room because they had to move all the furniture around. We put down two microphones on either side of a table where the four of us sat that picked up all of our voices. And then I blended it together. I like laid those on top of each other so you hear everybody's voices. And everybody sat down, sitting at this table. Now, preface, this was a busy day, but we came in at the end of the day, so there were people in the building. The wing that we were in, people weren't supposed to be coming past. There was Lisa trying to keep people going to the left side as opposed to the right side because we were going to be recording over on that side and it was going to be quieter. So the only person that I saw come through that time while we were sitting there was Alice, and she didn't say anything. And I think she had to go check, like, to make sure the door was locked on the one side, and that was it. I like saw her and waved to her, but we didn't. There was no sound.
And that wasn't at a time when you
Right.
heard
No.
what you heard. So,
Right. And right off the bat, when I was doing the testing to make sure my levels were coming up, and I said testing, and then it was ready time for you to be testing and say testing. But right before you said it, I hear a lower voice go, yeah, really low and kind of slow, and it just kind of reverberates. And then, but it's really hard to hear at the normal level because it was it was quiet. It wasn't like right in the microphone. And then it kind of blends into when you pick up and start saying testing. And I will have that out for everybody. You guys get to hear it. And I will manipulate it to crank up the sound just so you can hear that it is a voice and you can hear in headphones really well that it's a man's lower voice saying, yeah. And at first I was like, oh, that might be Bill, but it's not Bill. And I'll play a little snippet of Rick and a little snippet of Bill. And so you can tell all of our voices are not the same voice. Now, there are people in the building and walking around outside. I did not see anybody outside. We were near a bunch of windows and there was a door. So we could have seen somebody. I did not see anybody. I do not have video of it though. Also, in the rest of the recording, I did not hear anybody's voices come through. That being said, it is definitely an anomaly and I can't go back and recreate it. So I cannot personally debunk it myself. But I don't know. And other people hear it and they're like, oh my God, that's a voice. That's a voice. And I just don't know what to think about it. But I'm not going to not release it. I'm going to release it and let everybody think what they want to think. And you let me know. Tell me about it. Write me. Comment.
that's the only thing. Yeah, that's the only thing you can do at this point because it sounds to me as something that I don't remember going on in the room at the time.
Yes.
I know there was one period when my stomach growled because I hadn't had lunch, but I don't think it was that.
It was not a stomach growl. These microphones would not have picked up your stomach growl. And I literally did not catch any other voices or noises outside. So I really, really wish I could get back in, set everything up, and then do our test. Like I would love to do that, but I, that's not going to happen anytime soon if it does even happen at all. So I'm throwing it out there. We're doing it. We're just throwing it out there. You tell me what you think. I can't. It's unexplained to me.
So voices have been caught on EVPs,
Yes.
and some of the other, what's the other equipment? I forget what everything is called. But
Well, the voice
they,
recorders,
yes, there's a program on the phone. I think Riley talks about that when we're doing
spirit
her
box.
interview. Yeah.
There's the
So
spirit box.
there are pieces of equipment that they have definitely caught voices on,
Yes.
but this wasn't just part of that equipment. This was
Right.
just our recording equipment for the interview.
Yeah, exactly. And these microphones are plugged in, so there was no reason, like, it wouldn't be like a Bluetooth thing. Like, they are plugged in directly to the laptop. So there's no, like, it wouldn't be part of a radio station or anything kind of busting through. I don't even know how that would work. But that's not possible. So it was right in our microphones.
This was the interview after, both after the paranormal
Yes.
tour and the reveal.
Yes,
So this
exactly.
was a separate
Yes.
interview that we had on a separate day.
Completely separate day. And they say they hear it, but they don't want to say that it's something when it could have been somebody walking by. Again, I didn't hear anything else in any of the hour recording that we had. So that's all I'm saying. Do you want to talk about Roger too? Because that's,
Well, that was something that you caught that, that was questionable because
yes.
it came through on an EVP, right?
No, that was a dowsing rod.
A
The
dowsing. Well, the
rod.
dowsing rod, but didn't we also get an answer on the name?
Well, that was on the Ovilus. So the
Obvious.
Ovilus
Okay.
did not speak out loud. It just pops up words on the screen. I think there's an option for it to speak out loud, but they didn't have that option on there. So it's just she was reading, she had it in her hand when we were doing dowsing, and Roger came up when we were talking. And I will post this video up. It was really interesting. Now, again, it's weird. It's weird. We were talking to a guy named Roger. My dowsing rods were going off, and you'll see more about it. But it came up as like there was something. It said Roger, and then it said unholy, and I was like, oh well, they're Quakers. Maybe this stuff is unholy. And I was like, oh, this time frame that they were living here was two different time frames that spiritualism was in favor with rich people. People did seances. So I thought, okay, maybe there's a seance. Maybe he's talking about how he was in a seance. So we went down that thing. But again, we asked Lisa. Lisa said there was no seances. Rick said they would have written about it, so there was no seances. So I don't understand what happened with these things and Roger and why this is, but I'm gonna put it out there because I feel like everybody kind of needs to see how the dowsing rods work. But there's no verification at all. We have nothing that says that they did anything or a man named Roger. Who knows?
He may
He's
have been a visitor. He may have come in as an entity with someone
yes.
else.
Yes.
It's hard to tell because you had that same event happen with Colin and his
Yes.
mom. So, do
Yes.
you want to talk about that?
Oh, when I was listening to my spirit box on my headphones.
That's right.
Yeah, so I was listening to my spirit box. And I had it on my phone, and it was plugged in, and I was in my headphones, my noise canceling headphones. I was in the basement, and while everybody was playing with portals and lasers and stuff, I was just kind of listening to see what I could get because this is what I want to be doing. I want to be learning and doing things my own self. And so I put that on, and the most interesting part was when I was just saying words that were coming through. Colin's mom, I'm sorry, we never caught your name, But Colin's mom, I said Cindy, and she like looked over at me, and I heard something. It said, I don't have it recorded, but it's like kids are gonna be okay, or like it's no, it's gonna be okay, kids or kid. And that's a phrase that I heard on the spirit box, and I was like, that is bizarre because usually you don't hear a phrase like that. So, and she turned to me and she was like, oh my god, that's Cindy is my best friend and she's got some things going on right now. And I was like, and she told me a little bit more, but that's not my story, so we're going to be respectful for that. But it seemed to be pretty on point with what came through on my things. And I was like, all right. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you about it, but that seemed to be a little validation for her. So
So she was standing next to you.
yes. Yep.
So there was
Yeah.
some validation around that, if you want to call it, or
Yeah.
something that went on that we
A little,
can't
a little
again
weird.
verify, debunk, which we would tend to do. So
Right.
the Riley took a photo that had an image in the mirror. She could see things, I couldn't see it.
No, and she was like, when she sent it to me, she was like really excited about it, and I was like, I don't see it, but that's me. Like I don't see those things, even like on TV shows and stuff. It's really hard for me to pick anything out. Like it has to be blaringly obvious for me to be like, oh, okay. So I felt like I'm not the person to talk to about this.
Well, there was one example that Rick had of a photo that was taken where they definitely could tell there was someone standing with other people in the mirror. And
Uh-huh.
they were standing there. Someone took a picture of the mirror. They saw the person in the mirror and they lined everybody up, and that person was not in the room. So they actually, and I did see that. I saw it, the photo of it that he showed during the reveal. So
Mhm.
that is something apparently that happens quite frequently. So if Riley caught something, she may have.
Yeah.
And again, what's that word where your brain,
Pareidolia.
yeah, pareidolia.
I'm not saying it was pareidolia. I'm just saying
Right. Yes. We
when
can't
she
verify it, but we can't.
now Rick and Bill thought it was something. So that's good for them. Like, yeah,
Mhm.
that's interesting. I'll release that too. I think maybe I already did. I don't know. This will all be posted on our Instagram and Facebook. So you'll get to see all this if you go to our Only Ghost Facebook and Instagram. And eventually we'll have a Patreon for this stuff too.
I think we kind of want to talk about also the respect that
Yeah.
Rick and Bill both say, please, and then thank you if you get a response on something. Be
Yeah.
respectful. They don't want to alienate the spirits. The spirits want that respect. They enjoy the interaction, apparently, or
Right.
they wouldn't be coming back. And they also don't want to provoke spirits. So
It's because they both said in the interview each one of them has provoked and gotten scratched, both of them.
mhm.
So, or no, one.
one
One of,
one
okay.
was in different places, but
Yeah. So, yeah, Rick got scratched and a guy that got provoked got scratched, but it wasn't Bill. Bill was there though. Also, spirits aren't monkeys to like they're not our pet
playthings.
monkey to see it
Right,
play.
right. And
They
it kind of,
are human
there are some people
ish.
that are critical of that, saying you're just doing this and like you want to have that response, and you're looking at them like they're pets.
Right.
And especially the dogs, when we did the dogs and people are calling the dogs, and
Yeah.
which the dogs may respond to it like whistling and come here, and
Yeah.
that sort of thing. Yeah, definitely you have to have a level of respect for the spirits that are coming through, or they
Right.
may be there, because you don't know what they're seeing from their side of things.
No.
So they may be like, oh, here are these wacky people coming back again,
Right.
they want us to perform.
Right.
And it's not a performance. That's
We're
not what this is. So
we're not your dancing monkey, okay? But I think maybe they do. Maybe they're playful, and I think some are playful and they want to, communicate or get acknowledged even
Maybe get
even
acknowledged,
afterlife.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And maybe give us experiences,
Yeah.
that they think would be fun for us to have.
How would you want to be treated when you are on the other side, and if you were a ghost, how would you want it to be treated?
Well, I think I'm going to give you a lot of head flicks, you know. Take that little flick in the head. Oh, you're going back. What was that? It was mom again. Give me a
It's
head flick.
mom. You have to possess Jonas and just be like, "Ooh," come through his voice box. It'd be funny.
Um, Actually,
Possess your grandson.
I was watching one of the shows on MeTV last night. It wasn't Alfred Hitchcock. It was the one that comes on before that. And the little boy, Billy Mummy, Billy Mummy. That
No,
he was famous actor in Lost in Space. The little boy in Lost in Space,
I
the
think it's
original Lost in Space.
before my time.
Well, there's reruns. His grandmother died, and she had given him this toy telephone. And she said, "Well, if you need to talk to me, just talk to me on the phone." And he talked to her on the phone.
Oh,
And
that's so cute. I love that.
the parents were freaked. But
Yeah, Stephen King also did one of those too. I think it's like Mr. Harrison or
I
something like
think
that.
this was based on a story by Ray Bradbury
Yeah.
that follows that. But that was kind of appropriate for our
Yeah.
conversation. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, well, if Jonas is talking on the phone, he's talking to me.
Ring, 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 spirit phone. He'll be like, Nana, Nana,
That's right. Chocolate?
Nana, chocolate. He's so cute. Anyway,
The reveal and the original paranormal tour had different people. There were a couple of the same people, but with the reveal, they showed all of their evidence. They showed some information about the equipment and went into more detail about some of the equipment they have. There was a lot of evidence from past paranormal and some of their personal stories that was interesting. And then we sort of walked around the same places. So we went into the bedrooms, we went into the attic, we went into the basement. It was a different group. It was a smaller group, I think. So
yes.
it was about the same size, maybe a little smaller. They had evidence that was similar to what we found on the paranormal tour.
Yes.
It wasn't
Yes.
as much because we didn't spend as much time, but
Yeah.
it sort of validated some of the things that we found the day before. That was interesting.
So they set up a thing down in the basement and they caught a sound and they played it a couple of times for us. And the first time I kind of heard it sounded like a metal bucket, like the handle kind of creaking, and then you hear shuffling. So in my head, I remembered that they had a servant, and that woman was strictly for taking the coal and putting them in the fireplaces and keeping that going all day. And in my head, that's what I saw in my head when I heard it, is her carrying the bucket of coal and going up the stairs, the little creaky stairs. And then you hear a door too. The door like creaks or something. So you listened to it, because we all listened to it at the same time, and you said you thought the same thing at the same time.
I was remembering it with us being in the basement and having that same effect, that there was kind of like a clunk or like a bucket hitting a wall or a
While
step
we were in there.
while we were in there.
You remember what I'm talking about though, right?
Yeah, I do. I remember that was
Yeah.
part of the reveal, but no one else picked up on that.
No.
The dog growl we
The dog
definitely
growl.
heard.
I'll
I heard
post
it.
that up for
You heard
sure.
it. We can't verify it.
I think it might have been a little bit dismissed because it's not a growl EVP. It's a literal growl that we all heard, but it was coming through the spirit box, the honey tone or whatever it was, the big
Mm-hmm.
spirit box. So it growled through the box. It wasn't just like a disembodied voice, it was through that box. And other people there heard it, and we recorded them hearing it. And even Riley said, "Oh, it sounds like somebody's mad," or something like that. You'll hear that when you go through. It's mom doing the dowsing that didn't she didn't get any reaction out of the dowsing, but it was cool that I was recording that because then we caught that on the spirit box. That was interesting too. It's a hard one, and I guess that's what makes this difficult. Like, there's no clear cut answers ever. When you watch these ghost shows and you see, your half an hour or your 45 minutes, but they're doing that for days. They're going in for days and setting up all the things, and they're wearing the same clothes so they can pretend it's all one day, but they go in for at least 2 to 3 days each time. So we got more than one episode they do for like three
It
or
was
four.
it was an hour and a half we were there, and we're capturing all this stuff.
Like, how can this be real? How is that real? I don't know. I think y'all should go on your own, see what it is about for yourself. Look at all our evidence. I am using air quotes evidence. See what you think, because we don't know.
I was comfortable there. I don't like the spooky.
No, mama's
I
nervous.
just want to know the spirits are there, that the veil is thin, and that we can communicate with spirits. Yeah. And people that are still hanging around or able to come back to give us an experience from wherever they're hanging out. They do have one at night, late at night, that might be with the lights off type of a different feel. The one we went to was not that.
Now, I think the walking around in the dark, that one, the outside paranormal walk, that actually, I'm more scared outside than I am inside. I don't know what it is.
Well, there's possums out there.
Oh, no, I love a possum.
You know when it starts hissing at you.
Oh, I'd be like,
in the middle
so
of the night.
Go ahead, hiss away. You're so cute. Thank you for eating all those ticks. Maybe a raccoon. Maybe I would be a little bit more. No, but they're cute.
I think that's coming up, but that's coming up in the fall. Yeah. Well, raccoons are kind of frightening at night as well. But you come across any animal at night can be a little startling when you're not used to seeing them.
I'm more scared of humans anyway.
Well, that's true.
Y'all look creepy.
So I guess this is our last episode covering Rockwood.
Actually, I want to do our side quest because of Roger. That led us to an interesting thing because we had no idea about Quakers and their Quakerisms and spiritualists and their spiritualisms and how they kind of mingle together.
I'm not saying that all Quakers are, right, spiritualists, and certainly in this day and age it may be a little bit different, but there were periods of time, especially like after World War I and after the Civil War, that people were reaching out to their loved ones in times of stress. It makes them feel better, knowing that their loved ones are in a place where they're not
too far.
Yeah, they're still around and they're all okay. That gives people comfort. And I found on the website, on the Quaker website, there were quite a few Quakers in the area.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't be beyond the pale to say that there was spiritualism going on. I don't think it happened there because they definitely would have had documentation, because Rick said they kept documentation on everything. Just in general, yes, the side quest on
validation for Roger, that brought us down to a little side quest. And I love that side quest, and I definitely want to work on that and talk about that sometime. Because spiritualism is really interesting to me. It has the ups and the downs. There's the goods and the bads. And there have been a lot of shady people around it. And a lot of people trying to debunk and some weird stuff, man. Ectoplasm.
Yes. Spiritualism got a bad rap because people really took advantage of other people during that period of time. They saw the opportunity to do it, to run a scam. While there were real spiritualists, there were a lot of scammers. The other side quest was Liverpool, which we found interesting when we researched Joseph Shipley Jr. and his time in Liverpool, making a lot of money before he came back. There was a lot of shady stuff going on in Liverpool, but Liverpool was also a beehive of activity during that period of time, of the late 1700s, early 1800s.
It's really interesting how a lot of the Philadelphia players are also Liverpool players.
And Liverpool now we associate with the Beatles, the lads from Liverpool.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, apparently it was a real big hot spot for a lot of things that went on that we'd like to cover at some point.
Mm-hmm. All right, we done?
We're done.
I really hope you guys enjoyed our deep dive on Rockwood Mansion and Park in Wilmington, Delaware. We had a really good time. It was so interesting. I'm not a history nerd, and I thought it was kind of fascinating also, but I really wanted to just get into the ghosts. But mom really likes the history stuff.
Our next projects are
Well, we have a bunch of stuff coming up, little, one off episodes, and then we're doing Bellevue Hall as our next deep, deep dive.
another interesting history project, and then, of course, we're going on a ghost hunt.
We're going on a ghost hunt. I got my K2 meter. All right. And that is all, my friends. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Hey guys, it's Emily. I just wanted to pop in here and give you the EVP, possibly the EVP. I've shared it with a few people. Some people hear it, some people don't. I went in and I am going to play what it sounds like at regular level, and I'm going to play a little bit of Rick and a little bit of Bill, just so you can get a level for all our voices. Now you'll notice in the testing part, you'll hear some voices in the far background. Now we were at Rockwood when we recorded this. We were in the one room by ourselves. It was an empty room. All the furniture had been taken out. The next room over was also empty. No one was allowed over there. Now there's a hallway, and that goes into the little place where you come in, where you walk through the glass doors, and that is where Lisa, Bill's wife, was, and she was talking to the people that were walking through the building. Now, the whole recording, don't hear other people in any of it, even in the parts where we're not talking, which I have edited out because it's better for flowing if you edit out the silent parts. There were people on property, so there could have been people outside, but I also didn't catch any other conversation from outside as people were walking by, if they did, because I didn't notice that they were. So I don't have any other voices in the whole hour that we recorded. So please let us know what you think. I've heard it's a Class A EVP, and I've also heard, well, that sounded like a tummy growl. I don't know. I'm an enthusiast, not an expert. Enjoy, and we will see you soon. And testing. All right.
I had several different things that had happened.
I happened to see an episode of Ghost Hunters, and I started doing some research.
And testing.
Testing. Test.
Testing. Thanks for listening to Only Ghosts in the Building. If you have any write-in stories that you would like us to read on air, please write us an email at onlyghostsinthebuilding@gmail.com, or you can send us a DM on our Instagram page at Only Ghosts in the Building, or on Facebook at Only Ghosts in the Building. We also have started our Patreon page, so go to patreon.com/Only Ghosts in the Building, no spaces between, or you can search Only Ghosts in the Building, no spaces between, and come join. It's free, or there are going to be a couple of pay monthly options, but you will get all your episodes ad-free there. And I will be posting a little bit more behind the scenes, or all the evidence that we collect will be posted there as well. So please come and join the fun. We will see you soon.
Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye.